Gosh.
Hey, I'm telling you. Okay, so I don't know. Mtash is here. She can introduce you. I mean, she knows you better than I do. So, Mtali.
My privilege. My
Yes.
privilege. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, I'm presenting to you Regina-Re. Those of you who actually saw who's smarter now. Some of you are not born. You are not an prayer item even in front of people. People had not known you, but Regina-Re was out there on our televisions and very articulate. She is a consultant. She has master classes about image, etiquette. Me, I know her for etiquette. And I think she is just versatile. Plus, very, very well read. I think of knowledge, the first person who taught me manners was Regina-Re when we were doing Tasker Project Fame. And she was like, Helen, come on, don't slouch, sit well. The camera will pass anytime. And then one day the camera just passes and it finds me slouching like I'm just like Zumba mode. Then Regina laughs at me, Helen, I told you. That's what they actually put on the newspapers. And Regina was looking all sexy and nice. Helen, come, Helen, mini merala niko hivyo. Nimelala kwa kiti, niko you know, and the camera is passing. She told me. From then on, I learned. Anytime you're in front of the camera or no camera in front of people, there's a certain way you have to behave. and so much, and just so much. I don't want to preempt. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Regina-Re.
Thank you so much, Helen. Wow. It is my thrill and pleasure to finally be here with you all. We attempted last week. I caught some of you at the tail end, as you know, but truly I am blessed and privileged to be here. I will say a little bit about myself besides what you've already seen on the videos I sent, besides what Helen has shared, and besides what I shared in my voice link. I consider myself, among other things, to be a constant student. I'm always learning. And in this regard, to be able to be a consummate learner, one must accept where their weaknesses lie. And I tell you, I enter this Zoom chat with you, laying myself bare and letting you know that I'm as close to inept in technological matters as one could ever be. But I'm opening myself to learning about Zoom chats and technology online, etc., etc. And this is part of why I've had a little bit of a challenge getting online with you. Not because I didn't want to, but because I was struggling a bit. Why am I sharing this with you? I think if we're going to be learners, as you get out there, there are things that you know and there are things that you don't know. But we must agree what it is that we don't know if we are going to be able to progress and move forward. And we must also agree to allow ourselves to learn from those who know more than we. And so in this platform, I'm learning from Rodriguez, from Madam Helen, in all matters to do with technology. They've really held my hand in this past week and facilitated. I've been online with Rodriguez for the past 20 minutes, just trying to get here. So I'm laying myself bare because it's so easy sometimes to see people like me who you've been seeing on a screen somewhere out there and thinking, wow, she has it all together. Not. She knows everything. Not. She doesn't fall and doesn't fail and doesn't falter. Not. I also want to learn from you. And this is why, for me, what I enter my sessions with when I'm meeting new participants is an understanding that we are learning from each other. I will share what I know, but I also want you to share what you know. So I'm not giving lectures here. I want us to share. And I've been watching your group chats, and it excites me to see how you're engaging each other. You're engaging the teachers engaging you, and you're opening yourself to learning. And so from this is where I want us to start, to allow ourselves to lay ourselves bare. And as we begin these 5 sessions together, I want to start with some, what I call group norms, how we are going to move forward as we go along. Number one, and if you are in agreement, I want you to give a thumbs up, smile, wave on the group chat. I know there's a wave icon there, so you can just either wave or give a thumbs up. When I say got it, I want you to say got it with a thumbs up. That helps me know that we're together. That's part of our group norms. Part of our group norms is to follow through, flow with the process. Understand that this process is going to be a learning one, and you open your mind to learning. If you open your mind to learning, you will learn. If you put a block, and sometimes blocks come psychologically, most of the time the blocks that we have come from a psychological space. You come into this room with baggage, what, who and who did to you, what so and so said about you, and stuff like that. And that means then you block your learning. So I want you to agree with yourself with a thumbs up that you will open yourself to participating in this process. If you do that, you will learn. And so that's part of the group norm. In same line with that, another norm is in Kenyanese. I'll be mentioning a lot of Kenyanese, and I hope you'll be able to share some of your favorite Kenyanese phrases as we go along. But in line with that other group norm, one very significant norm that I have is that we should not take things personally. In Kenyanese, we call it don't catch feelings. Okay, I know it's so easy to catch feelings. Somebody says something, I've got feelings. Somebody does something, I've got feelings. In this process, we are going to say a lot of things. I'll be adjusting this from time to time. Don't mind me. We're easy, right? So we don't want you to catch feelings. Why am I saying that right off the bat? It's because I may say some things to some of you, even on this platform, that might make you feel a certain way. You can expect to feel all sorts of emotions, sad, happy, elated. And then on the other side, you might also feel a little bit angry or emotional, and you're wondering what's going on, or even angry. Expect to feel all sorts of emotions as part of the process. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because when we are learning, part of the learning process is for us as trainers to be able to bring to your awareness what it is that is working and what it is that's not working. And if something is not working, it would not be fair for me to keep it aside, or to keep quiet about something that I think if I shared this with you, it would be better for you or beneficial for you in the long run. But sometimes what we do is, when I say to, let's say, Mary, I would change my hairstyle if I were you for this particular session, because that hairstyle is not fitting that look that you have or what you're trying to portray. You might just take it as a personal affront. I don't want you to do that. I want you to say, where is the messaging in here? What is the meaning behind what it is that this person is sharing with me? So please don't catch feelings. I don't know you all, and nothing I say is personal. And because my style of training is engagement and participatory, I will refer to notes a little bit of the time, but a lot of the time I will be using you all as my models, so to speak, for my training. So if I hear something or see something that you all are doing, I will use you to help bring a point across. And so our training will be, even though we have a set flow in terms of what I want to train you on and what we're going to be engaging in, a lot of the training will also come from you based on what you share with me, some of the questions that you have, and the comments that you bring up on the group chat. I will use those as the basis for the training. So this might be a training like no other. I don't know. You share with me. And I will always be asking you, what are your thoughts about this? What do you think about that? How do you see this that we're learning? And I'll also ask you to present some of your own questions. And I've already done that, even in the last assignment that I gave you. And if we follow through with those assignments, engagement, the learning will be much more profound, I can assure you. So don't take this like a lecture, like I'm sitting here and I'm just going to reel off from a book or paper a bunch of notes. You can pick a bunch of notes from Google, can you not? But what you won't pick from Google is engagement.
Unasema ukweli sana Regina bwana.
And I'm hearing some chatting. Let me hear from some of you.
I'm saying you're telling too much truth, bwana. Hey.
We are artists. And as artists, you can't just be sitting there like you're in a class waiting for teacher to come and share notes. No, it doesn't work that way. If you're told to sing, sing!
Hey, come slowly, man. Come slowly.
You're looking for who is going to go first because you're worried about how you're going to sound. Even if you sound what you think is bad, be the one to sing badly so the teacher will have personal time with you. If you're sitting back in the 30-40 room class waiting for that person to go first, then you don't get the personal attention. I'm a consultant, I'm a coach, so I deal with people one-on-one. And so if you're the first to put up your hand when a question is asked, when a query is raised or something like that, then we will engage on a personal level with you and you will leave home richer. Am I speaking to someone? I want to see some thumbs up. Now, why are group norms important? You might feel that we're spending a lot of time on this, but any session that I engage with anyone or group for the first time, I find that coming from a counseling psychology point, that this has been a very important part of the process, that we lay down what the rules of engagement are and what my expectation is. And in turn, what your expectation is, so that we are on the same page. Got it? Got it. So be part of the process. Participate, engage, ask questions, right? Now, if there are some questions that are too personal, too personal for you to share online, that's fine. Inbox me. Which means if I don't hear from you in the public group chat, I must get a lot of questions and queries on my inbox. And even though we've not engaged a lot since we met last week, it saddens me that about 2 of you, or 3 at most, have actually inboxed me. So shout out to those who've inboxed me about some personal concerns and queries, which I will find a way of wrapping up and encompassing in our training. But 3 out of the amount, Helen, how many are we in this class?
This class has 21. We're 21, but total we're about 30. 21 here, but total is 30.
Well, not even today, but in general.
Yeah.
How many are taking this
general 30.
session?
30. 30. There are some who are, yes, there are some who have actually graduated to Wasomi. If they graduate to Wasomi, that means we now let them not compete, but just train. Yeah.
Okay.
Because of certain reasons. So we started out at 37. So the others have gone to Wasomi. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So in this platform where we are, how many are we?
This platform, that means right now, or the platform of the competition, 30. Competition, 30. 30,
so
30.
30 people will be hearing this presentation?
Yes, those who don't hear it from here usually follow up on our YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
it's my expectation that I should be hearing from 30 people. That's my point, not 3. Does this make sense? Otherwise, it will be a waste of your time and certainly a waste of mine. And you will learn soon enough that I call it as I see it. I don't mince my words. I don't beat around the bush. At some point, I try to be diplomatic, but only when diplomacy is called for. But when it is necessary to call things as I see it and call you out, I will, because there's no growth without calling someone out on what they're doing and what they're not doing. So I'm going to call you all out, the 27 of you who I have not heard from. Because when I ask you to express your concerns, I know I gave you this assignment and I made sure I posted it again. And I asked you to write your concerns regarding delivery, regarding deportment, regarding anything to do with etiquette, and write it on this page and write those questions and inbox me. I'm not just asking because I have nothing better to do, or I just want to make it seem like I've presented an assignment. There's no point of an assignment if you don't do it. If you don't do it. And what happens in our sessions is that if I give an assignment, the next session we have will, the assignment that you've done will be the foundation of the next assignment. So if there's no assignment done, then there's nothing to talk about, because I'm not going to just read a script from my book. What I will share with you and engage with you on is on the work that you have done, so you know I'm dealing with you directly and personally. Got it? I'm assuming you're saying, got it. And then I'm going to say, don't lose it. And you all say, no way. Got it? Got it. Don't lose it. No way. This might sound like a lecture. I'm almost feeling like it is. But it will be the longest lecture you get. But this is just part of creating group norms, how we are going to operate moving forward. And incidentally, it is part of etiquette, as you come to realize as we go along. So we are right in the flow of things. It's just the construction of my training takes different shapes depending on whom I am dealing with. And so I feed off of you. If the assignment that I give is done, then there will be no need to really harp on what you have not done and waste your precious 59 minutes on what you have not done. We just get straight into other things. Got it? Any questions so far? I know Rodriguez you're tag teaming on this session. And before I go further, because the group norms I've concluded them, it's a participatory process. And the other one is we should not judge ourselves and the process. Do not just suspend your judgment of yourself and this process. Now, what is the difference between judgment and constructive criticism? I'm going to put that as a question for you to answer in the chat, and a discussion that you can have later on. What is the difference between judging people, things, items, and constructive criticism? I'll be curious to hear your responses to that. So in this process, we want you to suspend judgment of yourself and the process. Enjoy the process, be open to learning, don't catch feelings, and know that this is a participatory engagement. So those are the norms. And if you listen keenly, you realize that these norms fall through for all of the sessions that you're doing. Perhaps they weren't presented quite in this form, but indeed, these norms that I have presented to you should apply to all your sessions. Okay? So you've learned something new. And whenever you're starting a new process and engaging with people for the first time, establish where it is that they are coming from. I've already told you my expectations. I still wait to hear yours. Got it? So I'll give you another day or two to present your expectations and your needs and concerns regarding this topic with me. And I'll conclude the norms as I ask Rodriguez to engage and find out what some of the queries right now are, if there are any questions before we go on, or comments that you have. Rodriguez?
Yes, I'm here.
Anything that the group has? I'm not reading the questions right now, but perhaps you can share with us what they are saying so far.
So, Nancy saying judgment is based on assumptions. Memiarea is saying judgment demeans. Yvonette Mbotella says that judgment is like putting a final word on someone or something someone is doing and doesn't really correct.
Okay. All right.
Constructive.
And perhaps, does anybody have any query or concern about what I've been discussing so far about the norms?
No, nobody has a question with regards to that, but I'm sure that they'll keep posting their questions as we go along.
What we've talked about so far?
Yes. So if you have any questions with regards to what you guys are talking about, please post them on the comment section, and I'll be able to read them out to Regina. So they have no questions.
Okay, and you'll just and I'll give you the permission to interject at any time, Rodriguez or Helen, kindly,
Sure.
because I will just be following. I'll just be chatting on, and Rodriguez, if 15 minutes to the time, just give me a shout out. We're 15 minutes down.
Okay, no
So
problem.
that
No problem.
we don't go over the time, and I'll be able to wind up. Okay, so 15 minutes.
No
Super.
problem.
So we go on. Let me start by saying a very warm welcome to Regina-Re Pep Talk, where we discover, refine, and transform. My name is Regina-Re, a creative and performing artist passionate about all things personal growth and development. It is my desire to entertain, enlighten, and inspire all those whom I come across. Aside from this platform, I can be found on my YouTube channel, Regina-Re Inspired. That's Regina-Re Inspired. You can also follow me on my Instagram handle, which is Pep Talk with Regina-Re or Regina-Re Pep Talk. So for now, we are going to engage in our session of etiquette, which is one of the pillars of Pep Talk. Pep Talk is an acronym for public speaking, presentation, and the performing arts, etiquette and emotional intelligence, personal branding, and public speaking. So you heard Madam Helen mention that she knows me for etiquette. That is just one of the pillars of Pep Talk. And we want to unpack Pep Talk by way of how you can get the extra edge or develop the extra edge in Etiquette 101. And as you've already figured out, EDGE is actually spelled as an acronym. EDGE. And if you did this assignment, you realize that there are different categories in this acronym. In the 5 sessions that we have together, we will try to unpack some of these topics, but you will facilitate greatly with this process by sharing with me your concerns about any of these topics. For today, we will cover a few things under the category that you wrote down on your page over here, Etiquette Essentials. And in Etiquette Essentials, we want to talk about, which we already have, firstly, group norms. We also want to talk about the myths and misconceptions of etiquette. We want to delve into what etiquette actually means. And we also want to talk about why etiquette should be or is important to us. And some of the effects of obeying the tenets of etiquette. Have you seen that structure that I've given you? That is what we are going to unpack in Etiquette Essentials. And we already have started down that way. So as we are getting into the next subtopic, which is the myths and misconceptions, I'd like a couple of you to write down on the chat, what are some of the myths and misconceptions of etiquette? What do you know about etiquette, which you've come to find out does not ring true? Or what are your beliefs about what etiquette is? Kindly write that in the group chat. I'll be interested in hearing what you have to say. I'll give you 3 seconds to do that. Go ahead. What are some of the myths and misconceptions on the subject or the topic etiquette?
Someone is already saying you need to be rich to have etiquette.
Yes.
Another is saying, let me see. Okay, we're waiting for another one. But
You
yeah,
all need to get a typing, y'all.
etiquette
It takes more
means
time.
that you
Yes.
let people. Etiquette means that you let people walk over you. It takes more
Yes.
time to do things politely. Etiquette is only for formal settings. Misconception and myth of etiquette. When you're quiet, you seem more polite. Etiquette si yawa Africa.
I like it. I like it. If you get a reputation for being polite, people would.
Yes, people would respect
Keep on.
you. Etiquette is only comes with status quo. There's a confusion between etiquette and being professional. Etiquette requires one to be humble. Yeah.
Yes. Excellent. I love it. And what's that final one? What's that final one, Rodriguez? I struggle to read. And that's why I'm having you read them, because I need my glasses. I'm like, what does that say? So when you see me doing this, don't mind me. I just can't see. Etiquette
it's okay,
is
that's why I'm here.
Yes.
Etiquette
yes.
is when you comply to everything you are told. Usibishane nani. Etiquette is old-fashioned.
I'm loving it. Thank you. Thank you so much for your sharing. And I'm glad that you've gotten right into it and you're engaging. You see, we can learn from each other. What I had is some of the myths and misconceptions were not as broad as some of the things that you shared. So I really do appreciate the fact that you shared and so openly, because others can learn from you. And indeed, those are truly some of the myths and misconceptions around etiquette, that it's old, it's for the rich, it's not for Africans, it's not for, all the things that you've already shared. But I want to unpack the actual description of etiquette as I know it, okay? And I want you to write this down. Everybody ready to write? Etiquette can be described as conventional rules of personal behavior in polite society. Etiquette can be described in a nutshell, as conventional rules of personal behavior in polite society. So put that as a quotation. And what I would like to ask you moving forward is that you create a notebook that is specific to this program. And on it, you're going to have different pages that are entitled with different subjects or subtopics. And so on this page, one of the pages of your notebook, I would want you to just have definitions, vocabulary, definition/vocabulary. Because as we go along, we're going to be sharing new words with you. Some you may know, some you may not know. But when it's easy to find under the category of definitions, then when you're looking for it, you just have to flip to that page. And so each new page, I'll ask you, find a new page and title it differently, and then write definitions. And we will definitely add more words there as we go along. And then don't write anything else on that page. Use it for only your definition. So etiquette can be defined as conventional rules of personal behavior in polite society. So let's unpack them. There are three main phrases there that we're going to unpack. Personal behavior. When we talk about personal behavior, it has to do with how we behave from the time we were little. From the time we were born, for example, we were learning different ways of engaging with our family, our friends. Let me give you one example. When you were a baby and you're suckling on your mother's breast, what happened? You got perhaps a little overzealous with the milk that you were suckling, and then you would bite or nip at your mother's breast. And what would she do? She would, don't do that. I know I've had that experience. And I can tell you as a mother, it is painful. So what do? The child has no idea at all that what they are doing, the baby has no idea that they're hurting the mom. But the mother starts to train the child that when you bite, it hurts. And so she gives the child a little bit of a whack, so that every time the child bites, they get a whack, so that they know in future not to do that. What are we doing? We are training the child on how they ought to and not to behave. And if you reflect back on your childhood, or as a youth or a baby, if you can remember baby days, or even watch little children and see how they are cautioned to do things or not to do things. Say please. Say no thank you. Say may I. What are we actually doing when we ask a person, a child, to do this? We are teaching them manners. We are teaching them what it is that they should be doing if they want to live well with others. And this is what we are calling and terming as personal behavior. As we grow older, we start to employ some of those patterns. They've now become patterns. If you want something, you say, please, may I. If you get something, you say, thank you. That's what we call personal behavior. It's as simple as that. And so if we call this personal behavior, what we have learned from the time we were little until this stage of our life, how then can we say that the way we behave on a personal level is something for foreigners, for non-Africans? How can we say that it is only for the rich and the elite? The contrary is true. When you lift out of that description and definition of etiquette the term personal behavior, how do you behave on a very personal and basic level? And these are the manners that we were taught or we picked up that from a very early age, so that we can relate well with others. Etiquette is about relating with others. And so if you have good etiquette, then you might consider that you have good personal behavior, because it is possible to have inappropriate or negative personal behavior, which is not etiquette. Etiquette is about positive energy, positive behavior, positive relationships. So that is personal behavior. So let's go on to conventional rules. What do I mean by conventional rules? When we talk about rules, we hear this word flying back and forth. And any kind of structured system that we're in, even this one of AOV, has its rules and guidelines, how you ought to operate under this structure, under this system. In this system, they have its rules and guidelines. That's what we're talking about, conventional rules. In the police force, in the army, in the school system, there are rules and guidelines that govern how anyone that chooses to be a part of that fraternity ought to behave. So if, for example, you go to the Law Society of Kenya, there are things that you ought to do and ought not to do. If you go visit a home, a traditional home in Japan, there are ways of behavior that you must embrace. Because when we talk about conventional rules, what may be conventional rules or convention in one system may not be convention in the other. In some parts of the world, it is considered appropriate and okay to spit on the street, to the point where they have little spitting pots called spittoons, where you just go and spit. That's convention in that part of the world. You go to Japan, as I mentioned, you go to someone's home. It is conventional to bow as a form of greeting. It is considered polite. It is an unwritten rule, but it's a rule all the same. It is conventional to remove your shoes. It would be considered completely inappropriate to enter the home of a traditional Japanese family and keep your shoes on. What are some of the conventional rules that you've come across in the different groupings that you are part of? I'll mention another. On the various and the myriad of group chats that we are on, you will find that the administrator of that chat will say, these are the rules and regulations, how we can behave on this group chat. You may not talk about all and sundry. What you may do is only converse and send messaging regarding this particular subject. And anything other than the subject, you'll be kicked off. I'm part of a book club. And on this book club group chat, we only discuss the books and things related to the books, what we've read, how we felt about what we've read, what the rules and regulations are regarding what we've read. Anything else is not allowed. Should we discuss other conversations, should we have other things that we are talking about besides books, what will happen as a result is that we'll be given a first, a second, and perhaps a third warning, after which we're thrown off the group. Why is this the case? Because when you inundate a group that was set up for a particular subject, you inundate this group with so much noise and in communication. When you have so much going on a chat besides the order of business, you are distracting from the focus of that group. And so the conventional rule on this group chat is do not discuss anything other than what we've talked about. So those are some of the things and some of the examples of where convention comes in when we're discussing rules. And it begs the question you might be asking, well, whose rules do I follow? Who do I listen to? There's this person telling me this, there's that person telling me that. How my head is full. This is a rule of thumb when we're applying the rules of convention. You follow the rules of that group or that person whom you wish to impress, whom you want to be in good graces with. So if Joe Schmo from across the street is not a person in your area of interest, and his group or her group is not a group that you're interested in being a part of or party to, and Miss something, Miss A or B from the right side is somebody who you want to impress, then you want to learn as much as possible about this company, this group, this particular person, and follow their rules and guidelines. This person on the other side, you just don't bother. So don't get confused about this person's telling me this, that person's telling me this, whose rules do I follow? You follow the rules of the group or the person whom you wish to be in good graces with. And so I want you to write in the group chat and share with us, what are some of the rules of engagement? What are some of the conventional rules that you have come across in your life? What examples can you give me of some conventional rules that are stuck? They form the foundation and the premise of that group. And if you want to be party to that group, you must follow those rules, conventional rules. Share with me, please. You have all of 3 seconds, so go.
Okay, so I have a comment here from Rhea,
was it Ray? She says, I was an Acorino. The women there do not pierce their ears. They will say, you say that piece of meat went. I mean,
Oh,
I think
may
she's
I
trying.
ask you to project?
Oh,
Rodriguez, may I ask you to project? My sound on my phone is not very good. And
okay, sure. Can you hear me now?
yes, that's better. Go ahead.
Okay, good. So Ray Kimemia is saying, I was an Acorino woman, and the women there do not pierce their ears. If you do, they'll ask you, where did you take the meat that you pierced from your ears?
There you go. There you go. Uh-huh.
Uh, uh, Catherine is saying, I'm in a WhatsApp group where only the admin can
Okay,
post.
I've lost you again. I've lost you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. So Catherine is saying, I'm in a WhatsApp group where only the admin can post. Um, then Sarah J, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Regina?
Yes, yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. So,
Yep.
I mean, Sarah J is saying, no one should come home after my husband, our conventional rule. Hey, this is unique.
It's not that unique. Believe me. But thank you for sharing, guys. And the more vulnerable you are, you all, we learn so much. So keep them flowing. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Someone is saying, hakuna kulala before praying. You do that, unaamshwa 2 laps, then you lead the evening prayers.
I love it.
Yeah, this one
Anyone else?
says our family friend had a rule: no one should wash their hands before her hubby. Like we all should wait for the husband to wash their hands before we all wash. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Christine from South Sudan says, when I was growing up there, a certain chair was only for my dad. Yeah, Miss Mbotela is saying some rules is that as a lady or a woman, you can't sit where men are, and also men can't sit where women are. When I was little, they used to say that the man will become like a lady. Yeah. Princess is saying church rules in praise and worship, dressing code, makeup, how to move around. Our home, no one follows their dreams. Parents have the last say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eve Anya says no one should eat the gizzard. It belongs to the man of the house. Caro Gift is saying, I'm in a WhatsApp group that only admins can post, and also I'm in our Facebook group that whenever you want to post something, an admin must approve it first. Yeah, yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, good. This is good. I'm loving it. I'm loving the sharing. And so you're getting the idea of what some of these rules and regulations are. You already know them. It's just that you never deemed them as part of etiquette. And so it goes back to the question of why it's important to us. But before we get into why it's important to us, I just want to also highlight for you, and I'm sure you're aware, there are other the other structured. Now, I won't say more structured because the family is part of structure, but it sounds to me like, and perhaps it's the age that is the reason for this, but it sounds like a lot of you are talking about rules and regulations that are in the space of the family structure, and that's okay. But we have other structures, as I mentioned. They are more formal, official structures, like the school system, like places of work, for example, whether you're work in a hospital or you're working in the judicial system, or you're in the order, for example, priests and nuns and things like that. Those are also areas where conventional rules do apply, and we need to start looking out for them so that we don't take offense, for example, when you go and you board a plane and there are certain things that are required or expected of you. And so it goes back to understanding that the myths and misconceptions we have about the word etiquette are so far-fetched, because all of us must employ the tenets of etiquette if we want to, and I'll share with you a little bit later on, but part of why it affects us is relationships. That is the basis of effective etiquette. But let's go into the third arm of the description. We talked about etiquette being conventional rules of personal behavior in polite society. And that's the final tag of that very broad definition. And when we think about polite society, it goes to what I was talking about, relationships. What is politeness? What does that mean? Being polite is just about relationships. It's about relating well with others and having basic manners, practicing the manners that it becomes part of the norm of the space in which we engage and live in. For the purposes of going into why etiquette affects us is good relationships, more productivity, greater engagement with our workmates, with our family, with our friends, greater impact in the things that we want to do. And particularly with you all grooming yourselves to be vocalists, performing artists, I would say, because vocalist is just one arm of the umbrella under which you study, which is a performer, performing artists. There are certain things that will be expected of you by virtue of you being a performing artist. Do you know what they are? Number one, you want to be able to relate well with others. You want to be able to engage with your colleagues in the business that you're in. You want to be able to articulate your ideas through song or through just words, verbally. You want to be able to communicate even by the way you dress and you appear. But do you know what is expected of you? Understanding what the conventional rules in the fraternity in which you are in will go a long way to you achieving your dreams and desires as a vocalist and a performing artist. Failure to which you will just be that person who has a good voice. And that's not enough. There's so much that you need to know regarding this subject of etiquette and being a performing artist. But unless you understand what it actually means at the core, you'll always think that it's for those people out there and not for you. And that rules and tenets of etiquette don't apply to you. And there you have it, folks. At how many minutes to? About 7 minutes to. The basic unpacking of this odd, strange, old-fashioned term, etiquette. Simply conventional rules of personal behavior in polite society. The space in which I live, I want to relate well with others. And to do that, I must understand what the rules and regulations are that govern that space. I want to bring into that space my own good manners, my courtesy, my mindfulness, my awareness, my consideration, before I even start to bring in my vocal voice to sing a song. Sometimes you get a job or a gig, not just on your voice alone, but because you are a person who has all those qualities and more that I just articulated. And so these are things that you need to start thinking about. But we will get into the subject of the how in future sessions. What are some of the specific things that you need to do? And one of the things that I want you to work on is to ask yourself the question, who am I? And who am I by virtue of what are the things that I do? What is my own personal behavior that I know I do? Who am I? Who do I be at the core that I know this quality works for me? And the reason I talked about being vulnerable at the beginning of this session is I want to get into this. I want you to ask yourself on the flip side, the very, very poignant question about what are the things that I am doing, my own personal behavior, my own attributes that are working against me in this business and as a person. Because if you don't unpack what is not working about you, about your personality, about how you deal with crisis and with trouble and with challenges and things that go wrong in your life, with criticism, if you don't unpack that about yourself, then you cannot proceed and grow and have good impact, better impact than you're having now. It's not enough to learn the theory about being a musician and a vocalist. You've got to get dirty and do the work. You've got to stretch those vocals, and I've been seeing you do it. And kudos to you. You all sound great. Well, some of you need some work, but we all need work, right? It's all good. I'm loving the way you're exercising and getting into the rhythm of things, you know? And I just might join you one of those days. Hey, Helen. I'm loving it. But now you need to get inside.
Thank you.
You need to get inside. And ask yourself, who am I? What makes me tick? And so to that end, here's another assignment. You're going to divide another page down the middle, and across. And you're going to write and title on the left-hand side, things to work on and what works. Things to work on the left-hand side, what works about you. And in this column, you're going to write your character, okay? And your character here. And over here, you're going to write physical and physical. Does that make sense? I'll draw it and post it out there for you, do another little video, but that's just what I want you to do. And you're going to entitle the whole thing, Who Am I? We want to be very, very honest with who we are. And you can ask people, what do you think about me? My character. What do you think about my personality? And you want to write the things that work. I don't like saying negative. I just like saying the things that you can work on, okay? And then we also want to write about our physical. You know, what is it that you like about you? Is it your height? Is it your voice? Is it your eyes? Is it your fingers? What is it that you like about you? Be very honest, be very open, so that you can look at this page and then we can start checking off the things that you like, that work. You keep working on it and you harness it. The things that are working against you, and you've asked people and they have told you. And by the way, when you ask people and they say, you know what, you can be a little bit selfish sometimes, don't catch feelings. Don't start saying, what do you mean? Who said I'm selfish? When was I selfish? No, don't do that. What you want to do is just go ahead and gracefully, graciously take the criticism and then go ask yourself, self, what can I do about that? And so today, folks, as we wind up, we have discussed one of the tenets, one of the pillars of how you can develop the extra edge in Etiquette 101. And we have unpacked the etiquette essentials in your little block. So if you have any questions regarding etiquette essentials, whether it has to do with the group norms, whether it has to do with the meaning of the word, whether it has to do with the myths and misconceptions, whether it has to do with a homework assignment, then please do inbox. If you inbox on the group chat, it will be beneficial to everyone because then we can all learn from there and we can all share the answer on the group chat. But if you don't feel that you're ready to share your queries or concerns on the group chat, feel free to inbox me. But I need to hear all your voices. I need to see all of you penning a question, a concern, or a comment on what this session has been like for you. And when I close my sessions, I normally like to have what we call feedback. I too can take criticism. I too can take feedback. And as I'll be giving you feedback, I expect to hear from you. I want to hear from you. You can inbox me if you so choose. um, just a couple of lines about how this session for you was today. How was this session for you? How was I'll ask you for specific things, but if there are things that you want to share that I'm not asking about, go ahead and share. What did you get from the session? What did you get? One learning point that you got that you didn't know. Then another learning point that you knew, but you were reminded of, or now you got it. The other thing is, what are you going to do with what you've learned today? I want to hear action. I will, from this day, do this. I will move forward. Moving forward, I'll do this. So those are the three things I wanted to hear from you by way of feedback. And you can also talk about the other things that we don't normally talk about in group chats. And this is prepping you for how we're going to be proceeding forward, even with you. What was the setting like? What was the energy level like? How did you find the engagement with this session? I want you to write all those things down as part of training you to be effective communicators. And with that, I end my session. And I just want you to prepare yourself for the next session by way of the introduction. You had me introduce myself earlier on. I want you to write a 30-second introduction. Write it, practice it in front of the mirror to make sure it's no more than 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds to a minute, okay? I'll give you that. And practice it in front of the mirror, and then you are going to deliver it. The way you've been delivering your vocals to Madam Helen and your exercises, you're going to deliver your introduction, because that is going to take us into the D of our next session. So you've got to make sure you do it. All of you all, okay? It's over and out for me. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please do ask. Over to you, Rodriguez and Madam Helen.
Regina, Mimi, I'm very excited. Let me just say, Mimi, this whole time I've been thinking about Regina-Re knows my name, and yay, that's a good thing. Regina-Re calls me by name. Yeah, that's a good thing. Mind you, by the way, I was watching Who's Smarter Now ever since I was really young, and thanks to my dad for that. I remember watching adverts on Blue Band and watching you do those adverts and thinking, oh, this is why I want to be in media. Actually, I'm in media because you're part of the people who inspired me to be here. So, yes.
Oh God, you got to put that in the comments. I'm telling you, write that down, because I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel. For real. I'm going to have to get a picture of you and put the meme. I'm dead serious. And you all are going to do that for me too. You're going to have a meme, a nice, I've seen so many beautiful pictures of you all, and just have something about how you've been impacted through this journey with me. Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Rodriguez.
Yeah. So anyway, let me read some comments from here. They're questions, not comments. Someone is saying, what are some of the behavior expected when on stage performing or ministering? That's a question. Would you like me to give you one question at a time, or several?
No, I just one or two, but I also just want people to keep just writing them, because we'll read them afterwards, isn't it? I'm trying to get people to start the process of engaging, learning that this Zoom business is not always about lecture. It's about engagement. And when you write, it's a type of communication. So let's just throw those questions in there, and they will also help me when we go forward.
Okay. The other question is, what happens when you go to a culture where the conventional rules don't agree with your personal beliefs, especially in matters religion? That's a question. Rhea is asking, what happens when you try to impress but you don't? Then Shiko is asking, what of my blind spots? I think she's trying to ask, what do I do about my blind spots, and how can I make my weaknesses to become my strengths? That's Shiko. And then Princess is saying, fantastic, I'm yet to discover myself. Sarah J is saying, I didn't know conventional rules are part of etiquette. Princess is saying, great lessons, thank you. Carol Gift is saying, thank you so much. I've learned so many things. Christine from South Sudan saying, thank you. Kimeme saying, this has been very educative, eye-opening, and so many other comments. Joyce or Joey is saying, How does etiquette tie in with personality? Is it easier for sanguines than it is for the likes of phlegmatics, right? And then finally, Christine, again from South Sudan, is saying, how can I not make my weakness so obvious? Right. Fazla David is saying, thank you so much. This was very important to me.
Excellent. So I appreciate the questions, and I appreciate the fast response to the questions, because normally they say when you snooze, you lose. So those who are asking those questions, I'm going to tie them in to the lessons as we go forward. You have asked so many things that are related to a lot of what I train on, especially when it has to do with personalities and sanguines and phlegmatics and stuff like that. In the P part of my training, there's personality profiling. And we may not be able to cover everything, as I said, and that's why it's crucial that you write those questions down. You share them on the group chat, but write them down in that little box that that you created for yourself, because this way you will create a catalog of questions and queries, so that even if we are moving into season 4 or however else this sessions will be framed, if we don't address all the questions, we'll at least have them written and we'll be able to address them at some point. Okay, so I'm not sure if there's anything else that we can discuss, but that who am I that I asked you to do is the beginning of finding out who you are by way of your character and your personality. And if it comes out that more people are asking about personality and temperaments in the questions that I get, then I will prep my session for next week around some of those things, at least try to address them. So if the thread of questions seem to be similar, I do my presentation next week. Is that okay?
That is very okay. In fact, I'm seeing most of the questions here have to do a lot with personality and the differences in being able to personality and soft skills mostly. Yeah. So because I'm seeing someone saying, why is it so hard for an introvert to fit into society? Carol Gift is saying, I understand that being polite is being humble. What happens when you're trying to put someone in the right way, but he or she is rude every day, and yet you are the leader of that person? How do you deal with such a person? And again, like I said, this has a lot to do with personality, leadership, and a lot of soft skills. So yes, you're right. You can be able to anchor your lessons towards that. And that would most likely, almost always, answer any and every question asked here today.
Yes, and you'll do a screenshot of these questions. My analogness is coming through, so I don't know how I will get those questions, but I hope I'll get them somehow.
Again, the beauty is we are recording, so once I upload it on YouTube, I can be able to send you the link, and you can hear my voice repeat the questions. So that's the beauty of technology.
Okay, that's fine. That works. That works.
Yeah, but I can also screenshot for you either way.
No, screenshot would work as well. So I don't know if Madam Helen has anything to share.
I have a constructive criticism.
Excellent.
I have a constructive criticism. Yeah, when you dress like this, and some of us don't know how to dress, Bwana. What are we supposed to do?
when you dress like what?
No, like I'm saying you. I think you are overdressing.
Right now?
No, of course I'm kidding, Regina. I don't know how you're able to. I don't know how you're able to just stay, like you're very stylish. I was looking at that top, There's something that I think you just hung there. Miss it. I don't. What? No, not the t-shirt inside the sweater. That's it. I'm like that must be a necklace that you actually just hung there.
It's an earring.
Yeah, an earring that matches your t-shirt. Imagine.
Full well that creatives are creative, and that's the beauty.
Yes, Regina, tell them. I learned something from you. I learned something from you that from the day I met you, Regina, I don't put on the same earrings. No. So that when you look at this side, I got a glow. I look at the other side, please, another glow. It could be the same idea. Regina, I learned from you that. Show that again. Show that again.
That's why.
Yeah, that
That's
definitely
another.
different.
It's my
Definitely
own personal
different. Yeah.
style. You see, the beauty
Yeah,
about being an
which I got.
artist is that you know your style
Yeah.
is your style. Whether you're Lady Gaga, whether you're Brenda Fassie, whether you're Helen, whether you're Rodriguez, that's a beauty about being an artist. The
Yeah.
thing you must do is you own it.
Yeah.
Don't try to be
You
someone
own it.
else and then you're being somebody else badly. Be the best version of
Yeah.
you. And people will just toe the
Of
line.
me.
Like, why
Yeah.
are you wearing 2 different earrings? That's
I
me. This
know.
is just
I know.
who I am. That's how I roll.
Wait until I met you, boss. You should be. I'm the master of it all now. Hey, and I also realized these are just not earrings. I even put them on my head. And if they
I
get lost, I'm
know.
like,
You
yeah,
can
it's
put
good you
them
got lost,
anywhere,
please.
you know. And this
Anywhere,
is what we are talking
literally.
about, conformity. You don't have to conform. Conventional rules
Yeah.
don't mean you conform. But at what point
Yeah.
in time do you follow those rules? And at what point in time do you break away from those rules? And I'm hearing
Yeah.
some of the questions people are asking. If I'm
Oh,
not
I
like
break
this,
away
why
big
should I
time.
follow that rule? Do you want to impress
Yeah.
that person or not? If you want to impress somebody,
Yeah.
you're going into a mosque. Surely you cannot sit if you're a woman where the men are. Sorry, you can't.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't go where the women are
Yeah.
if you're a man, because the
Yeah.
conventional rules are separate. Now, you also can't go with a miniskirt to Shags to visit your grandma. You just can't. Why do you want to be disrespectful in that way? And you know they don't embrace that type of thing. Wear it in the club or wherever it is you're going to wear it, where it will be appreciated. That way, you will relate better with the people who are in the space that you want to impress. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah, so I just love the way you operate. And then how can you be so articulate? Like, how come you're not using right? Like, how do words just come off your head, like as if you swallowed the dictionary in like a partly remember, you know?
Now, based on that question, I'm going to give everybody an assignment, another one. You know, I have many assignments. So there should be one page in your book written assignments. And get that page just now. Remember, I told you, be ready. Get that page, assignments. There's going to be another assignment to answer the question you've asked. How do I manage to speak without a lot of
Therefore, for instance, and you repeat them like
you know. This is what you do by way of practice. And you can do it even when you're walking down the road to the matatu, going home, whatever it is. This is a practice that you can actually employ. And the more you do it, the better you become. For 30 seconds, and you can time yourself. For 30 seconds, I want you to speak off the cuff. Off the cuff means improv. In theater, we call it improvisation. When theater first started, for example, there were no scripts. You know how we read scripts and we go to a movie and stuff like that? There were no scripts. You say a line, then I listen to what you said, I say, I follow, and back and forth. So the whole theatrical play was done based on improv. I improvise what I am hearing. In the same token, I want you to improvise. I want you to look at anything, wherever you are, like this earring, and talk about it for 30 seconds. You don't have to make sense. Just talk. Just talk. And you time yourself for 30 seconds. Start, 30 seconds, stop. What's going to happen is you're training your brain to just think. When you're doing it, the ahs, the ms, the airs are going to come into the picture. But what I want you to do is not worry about that in the moment. What I want you to do is just talk for 30 seconds. Eventually, what's going to happen is the more you talk, you will start to remove the as and and you start to think more of what you're saying. You start to think, this is a red earring. It's got 3 sections. It has been connected by wires. It was made in the traditional African setting. It's made out of leather. It's made out of wood. Did you hear? I'm just creating short sentences. And I just started talking about this off the cuff. If you're not used to doing that, it might seem challenging. This earring is red, and I like it.
No, I love the way we go. So,
and that
yeah,
what so is they're called vocal crutches. It's a crutch because you can't think of what to say next. So you're buying time.
Yeah.
You know, like, but just talk about it. Then as you keep on talking about things, it will come to you slowly. It's got 3 sections. It's connected by wires. It is hanging on the sweater as an accessory. So it works as an earring and as a different type. You talk like that. Then you talk about the wall. Then you talk about the painting. Then you talk about your sweater. 30 seconds only, and stop yourself. Practice that skill. The airs and ums will go. And you can do a short video of me. Your best one, do a video and send it of any subject, whether it's a phone, whether it's a control, whether it's a piece of paper, whether it is what, it does not matter. Just do it and send it. And we will give you some positive, constructive criticism on the same.
Wow. Anyway, I hope these guys have enjoyed your session. I personally can listen to you.
We can go on until midnight. That's just how I go.
Oh, yeah. So thank you so much, Regina-Re. Me, I personally can listen to you all day, all night, because of your articulation, your diction, your pronunciation, your everything, flow of thought, grammar, etc., etc., etc. Beauty. Yani, this girl doesn't grow old. Listen, me, my birthday is today. Jubilee, Silver
I
Jubilee.
wish you happy birthday, by the way.
I did that, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can't believe inside me I'm feeling like I'm 36,455 6 days and 5 hours.
You are gracious, you're beautiful, you're warm, you're energetic, and you keep on doing what you're doing. Thank you for inviting me to this platform.
Most definitely. Now, Regina, I want you to know that every 2 weeks we teach these guys, then they go on a break. I think because you did not come for the other class, you are the only one probably who might teach them next week. So that, next week they're supposed to be on break, but I will ask you to teach them so that they can get a flow of what you're saying. The rest of the classes will not be there, but for you, I think it's because of the challenges you had in the previous classes.
When
so that we can keep at it. So I don't think you start. Usually, they're taking a break. We do two weeks of teaching, 1 break, 1 week of a break, then 2 weeks like that in several. We are not supposed to know when we end. So it's supposed to be, we're using the school of thought where it's a surprise. Yes, yeah.
So I'm asking for this week, when will they go for break? When will they go for break this week?
They go for break on after Sunday. That they start growing. This week they're not going for break. We finish this week with a concert, and then they go for break. But then the go for break means that we don't do any classes in there. But I think we're going to do your Tuesday class so that we can recover the last Tuesday that you were not there. Yeah, there's a lot that time? Regina, you have. Yeah, they will. Yeah. Usually we do it 1 hour, but you can start probably maybe 30 minutes before, like 12:30. Now that at least you're connected.
Never ever enough time. Never enough time.
Never ever. Yeah, never ever. And you guys, Regina is so knowledgeable. She used to run a program called Who's Smarter Now? And for you to actually do well in a program like that, you must be smart. Smartness meaning that you have to be able to hear everything from anyone at any point and take that as knowledge, you know.
You have to listen.
So Regina, I just marvel at how ready you are. I asked Regina, I thought she was going to give us just like 2 sessions. She said, Helen, I got, how many classes do you have? Like, how many times are you going to teach? I'm like, so much. And then Regina says, okay, let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4. She said, I can go. I'm not supposed to tell them how long, you know. But hey, Regina, that tells us how knowledgeable you are. And we really want to tap from this, you know. So these guys, this generation people.
If we do the online engagement, it will really benefit because you'll get to know even before we come to class.
Yes.
Yeah. These sessions are normally very short. Yeah. So the processing, I'm telling you, the processing is between now and when we meet again. Do the work, engage. And the next session will be so much richer, I
Yes,
promise
yes.
you.
Yeah. So
Thank
I
you
really
all.
can't wait to the next time for us to engage. Regina, just keep your doors open. We will want to really engage with you. So far, we have 3 groups. I'm going to add you into all the 3 groups so that you can probably work with them this week. After that, we'll return to the same group, all of us, so you can actually be communicating once.
Yes.
But thank you very much, Regina, for this.
Thank
You guys,
you.
please clap for Regina. I'm
Big
beginning my
up, big
coffee,
up.
please, and let's see. I'm concluding a class, Joy. Don't you worry. Eh?
Oh, thank
All right.
you.
All right.
Thank you so much,
Okay,
guys. I
guys.
really enjoyed myself.
Yeah. All right then. Okay,
And
bye
we'll
for now,
catch
guys.
up.
See you later. Yeah, thank you.